You know what that sound means. It's that time again. Welcome back to the official Handball Blitz podcast of 2024. Things really starting to heat up in the build-up to what will be the biggest Handball Blitz grand final yet. My name's Nick Davis, three-time Lismore Diocese handball champion, joined, of course, by Lockie, the Sandman Sands. Hello, Lockie. Welcome back.
Hello. I should also give my, accreditation. The reason why I'm on this podcast, two-time runner-up, 2008-2009 Gingerley State School. Their handball competition.
That was a tough competition that year. And
it was.
Your premiership window just happened to be open when someone else's was too.
Vikram Danapathy, 2 years back-to-back, was just too good for me.
You've got that name just tattooed on your back. Don't know why. It's
I know.
Weird spot to have it. But anyway, we are the official Handball Blitz podcast, focusing on all the competitors coming through in season 2024, the third year of Handball Blitz. And, well, Lockie, last week we spoke to the reigning champion, Jet, and he hasn't been able to be contacted by media since because we've been told by his coaches he's back into a really heavy training block, a bit like Ivan Drago style.
Yep.
As we said, we could really see him now, especially as he sort of becomes a man in these formative years, that he could come back, 3 inches taller.
Well, if you were listening to the Ash Lutzi and Susie O'Neill podcast, Lutzi was talking about how he's not really loving the Olympians, the Olympic athletes, doing the whole TikTok dancing thing. It might be a generational thing, but he's not a massive fan of kids playing around too much. He just wants them to be training, working hard, and I think that's exactly what Jet's done. He's gone, do you know what, I'm going to listen to Wise Man Lutzi and just go out and train, make sure I'm ready and peaking perfectly around the time of the semi-finals and the grand final later on.
Well, Lockie, I'd have to disagree with that. I see that as a very old-school mentality. What I see by these athletes on TikTok is there's a real freedom in them. This is their self-expression. You can't be too over-focused all the time. It can't be living in your head rent-free. You need to break that up a little. So, if anything, I'd like to see a bit more of it. At the same time, these kids are in primary school, so we probably don't need to see them on TikTok at the same time. That's okay. Now, we're in the second week of Handball Blitz. We keep building up to the grand final. August 23, Suncorp Stadium, 45,000 screaming fans will be there. Now, Mitch was out this morning, and look, this is Southside, but he was going west this morning.
Yeah, it's Southwest Fernbrook State School. It's a newer school, one of the newer establishments out at Red Bank Plains, actually down the road from my old man's school that he used to be a principal at. And he's actually got a road named after him. So this is heartland for me. This means a lot to me out near Fernbrook State School. And it was great to see a young whippersnapper like David de Klerk, their school champion, just proving why he's their school champion.
I like that there's internal competitions, kind of like the sort of Democratic or Republican candidates. Like the party have come together and found their champion.
Yes.
This is the process that we have to follow. And, Lockie, I'm a massive believer in meritocracy. Mm-hmm. It's not about nepotism or anything like that. It's about finding out who is the best on their day. Now, before we go to the interview, because Mitch had a big chat with young David, this was the first time we've seen a school this year with indoor courts.
Yes. Well, we do know that the semi-finals are going to be at an indoor venue.
Yes, it was on essentially basketball flooring last year. If you think of an indoor basketball court, that real squeak of the runners that you hear.
The wooden floor, because there's a difference. There's a wooden floor. There's sometimes that kind of softer material. I don't exactly know what it is.
It's a bit more of a modern thing. It's kind of like an indoor rebound ace, but certainly your classic sort of old school wooden timbers. Now, that was the semi-final. Last year, that was played at Somerville House.
This year, we're back.
And
we're back at
Somerville. Locked in. So, look, Jess was able to, he dashed around the court last year and taking on the north side last year, which was played out at Nudgee, and that was on cold polished concrete. So, I love it. It's kind of like Rafael Nadal coming up against Federer. It's grass versus clay, two completely different surfaces, two different sides of the river. But this indoor element, this could be really good for David going forward.
What I like about Fernbrook, I should say, is that they have a policy, and the policy is always achieving more, going above and beyond. I remember when I was in school, my principal used to say, achieve more than you thought was possible. And that seems to be the mantra there. Unofficially, of course, but it seems to be the mantra. And you can hear it right in this chat with David.
Come over here, David. We're going to speak to you. Make some noise for your champion, Fernbrook State School.
Good support. I like
He's
that.
giving himself a little bit of a fish shake in the air. David, good morning. How you doing?
I'm all right. Thanks.
Okay, so your handball coordinator over there just talked up your skill. Is that about right? Is it about the agility? Or what particular part of the game, about your game, do you back so much?
I go all around. I can go right, I can go left. I'm ambidextrous.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
David, it's David Lutzi from Nova here, mate. How do you the way you get around court is phenomenal. I've never seen anyone quite handle a court as well as you. How do you do it?
I just use my skills. I get on the ground and lunge for it, and quite coordinated with the ball.
Balance is a strong part of your game, right? Yeah.
Yeah, balance mainly.
Okay,
it's
so
David,
when we're talking,
it's David, isn't it, Mitch?
David, yeah.
Yes.
David. I
Mate,
mean,
I've heard them describe you, young Dave, as highly advanced for your age. You've got sort of a futuristic kind of attitude when it comes to handball, wouldn't you say, mate? I mean, you're non-theoretical. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I like that a lot. They're not spending a lot of time in the classroom. It's just out there, hard, practical skills. And what I like about David, he got on the front foot, when I say that, with both feet, because he, as you said, ambidextrous. The great Jason McManus for the Risen Lions was able to kick on both sides of his body. And that's what you really need to see. You can't have a dominant side, because if I'm playing up against someone, I'm looking to see where's their weakness. Now, if he doesn't have a weakness on either side of the court and he's prepared to dive for the ball when the game is on the line, that's what's going to make the difference come semi-final day.
It's interesting. I am right now on the Fernbrook State School website, and as you can see, exceeding expectations is their school motto. That is by the book.
Lockie, that's so much better than my primary school model, which was give up on your dreams.
Oh, well, I can...
Look at me now, Mrs. Hubbard.
Look at you now. I've just gone to the curriculum tab, and you won't believe this. Handball, absolutely number one. Above teaching and learning, Perry's pre-prep, and then all the different years, handball is number one. And that is no surprise to me, because this school... The first school I think we've come across this year that has its very own handball coordinator. Mitch caught up with her just this morning.
The handball coordinator, and that's your official role. I mean, I'm sure you get a couple of official roles, but I mean, pre-school time, when we're in training time, that's what you do here, right?
Yep, absolutely. We love handball here. It's our game.
Identifying talent, is there a particular year in particular, or is it all about sort of the experience, the age, the 5s and the 6s, or we got any sort of young up-and-comers to watch out for?
Definitely the seniors. The seniors are the ones to look out for.
Okay, and now we've got one in front of me now. I've been told to speak to David de Klerk. It says he won the handball championship at his school last semester. He is very enthusiastic about the game and highly skilled. When we talk about skills, what are we talking about? Is it about speed, about power?
I mean, all of the above. When you see David, he just goes for the ball. He's lunging for it. He's on the ground. He's everywhere.
Yeah, so that really shows that David isn't just overly selling himself. He's got the backup from his handball coordinator. And of course, a coordinator like that, they have to go through the Certificate 4 in handball coaching. There's a lot of pressure on them all the time. You think they can just check it at the door, but no, they take that job home with them. They're thinking about it all the time. Always media scrutiny on handball coordinators. I think it's quite unfair. At the end of the day, that's the job they sign up for. That's the pressure that comes with it. So I respect all the handball coordinators out there. Although, if some players do go down early, we will be calling for their heads on this podcast. That's because we have to hold them accountable. At the end of the day, we put the competition first, and if there's children who are not getting enough sort of training, then we have to call that out. Not to say they haven't, because I'm really liking David's form.
Do you know what I also like? The promise from the school as well. It seemed like a promise to me. Listening back, hearing that they are willing to instill de Klerk as one of the 4-5 houses at the school. So they had Thurston, a number of other names which I don't quite recall, and that's...
They mean nothing to us, that's the thing.
Well, yeah,
they're not handball names.
Maybe poor journalistic from me, but what I will say is that to see a handball student be listed as one of the 5 houses now would be massive. Mammoth for the sport of handball, mammoth for handball blitz, mammoth for David.
Well, as we said, we know they're going to, if she wins, we're going to see a mural up at Windsor State School. So that's the thing, people are starting to buy in. But I like what you said there, Lockie. Handball player / student, got to remember, it's still about academics. Much like your college athletes overseas, at the end of the day, they are there to study. But if they can really make a career out of some of them, it's a way out. So I love the focus there, but they're also putting their academics, really on the pedestal. And that's what I want to see, because at the end of the day, you're going to see a smart player out there on the court. God, I'm excited, Lockie.
I'm excited as well. I've just been looking at some of the entries. These are some people who've entered online on the Nova Player app. You can go there yourself right now. Jump online, Nova FM or the Nova Player app as well. Register yourself. We could be coming out to your school to be dropping off some handballs, to have Mitch down there, to have a little bit of fun. But more importantly, you can get yourself in with the chance of playing in our semi-final and the big grand final on August 23rd. Some entries we've received so far. Annika from Assisi Catholic College, she's been described as a dance enthusiast who now believes handball is a way of life. Her and her brother battle it out daily, so hopefully we'll see her part of the semi-finals.
Quick, sweet feet in the court as well. We've seen what happens
Twinkle toes.
When footballers learn dancing skills. They're so much lighter on their feet. I can imagine it'd be the same way. I love to hear that. What else we got?
We've also got Kobe from Mount Warren Park. He does tricks all day and school at home. Whether he is bigger than Kobe Bryant, I don't know.
Tough to say.
But he
or
could,
Kobe Hetherington for the Broncos.
He could be rewriting the name Kobe and establishing himself as the Kobe.
That Mamba mentality. You never lose it.
Well, that is it for today's podcast. Unless there's anything that you've got to say in final words.
We just want to make sure that people are heading to the Nova Player. We'll put some links up on our socials as well. Smash that button. Register your school. But look, at the same time, you don't have to just register yourself. Register maybe someone that you see potential in the schoolyard. Help them get there. Maybe they don't have the confidence to do it themselves, but they've got the skill. And at the same time, maybe your handball program isn't quite there yet, but you see yourself building to the future. Set your goals. Maybe say your primary school, 2028, could be champions. So get Midge out to your school. Get a drop of handballs. That's where you start building your program.
That is fantastic. That'll be it until later on this week. Handball Blitz podcast. Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you.